Hello. This video is an overview of D-SETI. That's the Dream Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Now, D-SETI is based on the shamanic dreaming hypothesis of UFO missing time. Now, this says that the encounter that people have with UFOs and their occupants are both real and dreamlike, and therefore you need to work with culturally relevant ways of understanding these experiences as both dreams and real. And so the work of D-SETI explores and presents the shamanic dreaming hypothesis of missing time. This video guides you through a lot of the content and service offerings that I have here at D-SETI. And so without further ado, I'd like to just share the screen to start to introduce you to what D-SETI is. Right? We ask the question here, first and foremost, how can we use dreams to search and study extraterrestrial intelligence? And there's really two ways that D-SETI looks at this question. First is we see that some documented exotic dream phenomena like telepathy, like shared dreaming, like precognition might be used as communication with extraterrestrials. And so we need to really look to that as a real hypothesis that we can experimentally verify. Um, Second, D-SETI sees that the experiences associated with UFO abduction, with UFO encounters, they may actually be shamanic dreams, and they might be explained through shamanic dream perspectives. And these perspectives are sort of hard to talk about in Western materialist cultures because there's been a bias against them for centuries. So D-SETI is exploring ways to bring forward the shamanic dreaming perspective that can really contextualize UFO abduction, UAP encounters, and non-human intelligence. I do that through like a free 3-hour e-course, and I really want to show that to you because this is the most important thing that you need to know about now. If you're interested in D-SETI, go enroll in this e-course. I designed this to bring you from UFO disclosure to dream phenomena and to understand the connection of that dream phenomena to the SETI mission. And so it goes on this journey through literature from UFO disclosure to dreams. And these are all the lessons associated with this in the e-course you can get to totally for free. Um, and then we go from sleep paralysis to shamanism, and we go from shamanism to D-SETI. And so that's the journey that you'll go on. There's 3 readings per phase of the journey, and there's a guided visualization that will help you understand what shamanic dreaming is. Now, it's hard to understand, it's hard to talk about because our language really isn't even set up to talk about the circular, blurred realities of fiction and fact that are necessary to navigate in this shamanic way of being. But I'll talk you through that. We'll go through that experience together, all in this free e-course that you can sign up for. Now, what's really cool is this e-course is set within the context of an online community space that, once again, is free for you to get into. So you can go to this online community space. It looks a lot like Facebook, to be honest, or whatever. Um, and so there's dream sharing you can do. I'm just starting this out right now. So I have a commitment to you that if you post a dream here, I will respond to it. And so that's the way you can do that. This place also has a calendar of events you can look into and see, yes, there's a dream group coming up. And again, there's this learning tab that has a free e-course as well as the book downloads that completely for free, all these PDFs of the books I've written. And I am selling mission training that I'll get into in the free e-course. The free e-course is enough for you to start with. It's about 3 hours. And then if you really connect with me or the ideas here, we expand it over 5 levels in this training that go through each of the aspects of like shamanic dreaming, lucid dreaming, ET contact, and things like that. So that's the place you need to go if you're interested in D-SETI, if you're interested in my work and you want to engage and get the download for free, all of it. Just go to the page, the link below, sign up for the free course. You can download my books, you can get the course. That's it there. Um, you join the community, right? It's a really easeful way to work with me. Low commitment, no cost. It should be good. Should be good for you. I encourage you to do that. But I wanted to keep going on this sort of tour of D-SETI material so that you can really orient yourself into the wide range of things I do. So I've spent the last 5 years writing books. I was inspired through my PhD coursework in integral noetic science to really apply that to these books. And so I have 4 books about the topic of presenting the shamanic dreaming hypothesis of UFO missing time. Missing Time Found is all about that. It's a scholarly presentation of this hypothesis. It has literature review, a methods chapter, it has case studies, it has discussion, it has everything you need to orient yourself in a scholarly way to the shamanic dreaming hypothesis of missing time. It has my story. I have a story of missing time. I share that story in there. Now, the Galithog-Legray's Field Guide to Anomalous Geometry is very similar to Missing Time, and it's a companion book, actually. This book looks at the physical evidence for UFO encounters and alien encounters in UFO footage or evidence of like body marks. People have photographed and said this is associated with alien encounter or something like that. Now, we're not looking as to whether or not these things are truly what they purport to be. Rather, we're collecting data about them in integral ways and considering them as possible communication using the universal language of math through ruler and compass geometry, which synchronistically was taught to me through my own dream practice. And so I integrate my own subjective means of inquiry in this book through channeling, automatic writing, and this sort of dream-based practice. That brings us to the Book of Galactic Light, which is the record of my exploration of Dr. John Dee as a precedent for missing time regression hypnosis. Now, that's a complicated thesis to be sure, but I take the time to explore that in this book, and you can get there again on the website. The book, I turned to this book almost like sacred scripture to me, because it was written in collaboration with celestial beings through a ritual of communication. Um, and then finally, that brings us to the D-SETI Research Institute proposal. And this book collects my academic writing and in support of a proposal for a world-class institute that's dedicated to the SETI mission through the methods of shamanic and lucid dreaming. And then we also have several more books, and I wrote books inspired by my dream practice, starting with an illustrated guide to practical dreaming. We've got Prophecies for New Babylon, Unrealizing Divine Identity, the preface and epilogue to the history of the world. The Alchemist's Dream is now achieved, and there should be Mysteries of Babylon somewhere. These are all books that I received through dreaming in my dream incubation, creative expression practice. That's central to my work here at D-SETI. So that's kind of evidence for my practice here. I wanted to talk about dreamwork sessions. Now, there is a journey that you can go on with dreamwork with me. Let me see if I can get to what that looks like for you as a dreamwork journey. It happens in, generally it happens in 3 to 5 sessions, 90-minute sessions. I start with a consultation. We do a life story as a dream. We have a first trance session. We have an intentional session where we do accomplish an action in trance, and then we have integration, creativity, and testimonial phase. So this is a journey that you go on with me. We really build rapport with one another. We take some action together, and we interpret that action together. I love this dreamwork journey. If you're interested in that, you can come to D-SETI and book a consultation with me. There's a big button on the top of the page. and you can learn more about the DreamWork session or journey and schedule a consultation. So that's one way to work with me. So that brings us now to the D-SETI YouTube channel, which is a place where I've documented my inquiry into these things. Now I'm sort of a awkward content creator, to be honest, because I have a different way of processing a lot of information that involves speaking, that involves using a lot of words, that involves going through a lot of different strange, oftentimes strange details, which involve my fixation on triangles or purport geometric proportions, and the fact I look at crop circles even though I think half of them are hoaxes or whatever. So I have a strange way of processing, and these videos document that way of processing. They also kind of communicate a lot of the ideas of D-SETI that you can really get into. Um, So the D-SETI podcast is really where I turn to if you want more structured content that's probably more familiar to like listening to a produced podcast. This has different segments where I introduce methods of lucid dreaming, where I go through my own lucid dream practice, where I talk about different concepts that you need to know about to orient yourself in the world of dream work. Then I've got Skeptics, UAP News, an integral perspective on UAP disclosure, and NHI Contact. This is a series that is rather strange, to be honest, and it integrates skeptical and credulous practices through looking at two concepts from the 1990s. One is a priest of high strangeness, which it is a sort of an analogy for all of the ethical issues associated with alien abduction research. And it also looks at the Sun, the Skeptics UFO News by Philip Glass. So in each episode, we cover one topic from one issue of Sun from the 90s, and we look at one contemporary topic in the contemporary UFO disclosure field. And so that's where it's at. Um, I present case studies of me working with people. There's this whole series about the universal language about body marks and UFOs being potential communication from ET. Self-hypnosis, guided meditation. Now, just so you know, a lot of my books come from these videos. I processed something verbally through these videos, and then I transcribed it, and then I was able to edit down the content to what we have in the books. So we've got the book Book of Galactic Light. A lot of the video content is actually there here in this playlist. And same thing for Missing Time Found. There's rather a lengthy playlist that goes through many different topics of missing time and regression hypnosis and contemporary UAP disclosure narrative. So that's the place you can go to orient yourself there. Um, and so that just is where those are all the offerings I have here at D-SETI Dreamwork. I'm very grateful for you to be considering my work. Now, I would love for you to engage with me in the way that's meaningful to you, and I will explore what that is if you reach out to me. I've said the most common way and probably the best way is to go to the link below to sign up for the UFO Disclosure and Dream Phenomena e-course. This will guide you through everything that I have to say about shamanic dreaming hypothesis. It really encapsulates all of the various details that have documented in all of the various places into one thing that communicates what I'm all about and what D-SETI is about. So please do just go there, go through that course, and then you might have a basis for engaging with me. Now, I'd be happy to engage with you at any point in your process. If you go, oh my God, I just have to talk to you. I've had these dreams, whatever. Do that. Get in contact with me. I love it. I love it when people, internet strangers, send me their powerful dreams that are compelling them to reach out to me, and I'll take time to read those and respond to you. Now, I have sort of a unique way of being in the world and a unique way of presenting information that involves a unique way of social processing. And so just know that if I engage in conversation with you through emails or video, that I'm really meaningfully interested, and then sometimes I have strange patterns of communication which involve a lot of text or strange cadences, meaning it might be a week before you hear back from me or something like that. So I just invite communication in the way that is meaningful to you in engagement. And like I said, go through the course, do dream work sessions with me if that's what you're inspired to do. Now, okay, I suppose I'll just conclude with reflecting on what shamanic dreaming actually says about these experiences, right? You probably want to know, all right, is it a real or is it a dream? How do I work with them? Should I pay attention to these things anymore? Yeah, it's dreamlike. Yeah, it's real, but what are you actually saying? So, what I'm actually saying is this: Western culture has spent centuries targeting shamanic dreaming cultures and destroying traditions that would help us understand what this is actually about. These traditions have long understood the mysteries of the UFOs and their occupants who visit us during these sleep and dream states that often might even be expressed in waking, right? So these cultures understand this in a way Western culture does not. Shamanic dreaming cultures do. Western culture, materialist culture, does not understand these things. So you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll use hypnosis. Maybe I'll look into if this is a dream or real. Maybe I need to recover a memory. Maybe if I understood hypnosis, I might understand if UFOs are real or not, or if there's bodies in Area 51. Now, if you're having these questions, and especially if you've had a dream or an experience, or you're anxious about this or obsessed and things like that, just know that the shamanic dreaming hypothesis says that these encounters are both real and dreamlike, and that they are shamanic in nature. Shamanism requires an initiation. It is a cultural thing, it's a traditional thing, but it requires an initiation. It will seek initiation in your life in whatever way it can, if you're called to that path. And it will be unpleasant as long as you resist it, right? So there's a pattern of death and rebirth, of journey out and back, of integrating, being something different, death and rebirth, shamanic dismemberment. That's why people talk about ego death in ayahuasca experiences. That's why there's an ordeal to the ritual of initiation. Now, if you're interested in UFOs and aliens, you kind of have a sort of feeling state that arouses you in some way, right? Like, then you're called to the path of initiation. You have to actually go through a ritual of initiation. Otherwise, you'll continue to be confused about these things. The real yet dreamlike spirits of the aliens or daemons or angels will be confusing to you, and they'll have overwhelming power at times that you feel out of control with. And so you need a ritual of initiation. I provide education about rituals of initiation, specifically just core shamanic ideas, right? Academic ideas set within the Western language. But I point to these rituals of initiation, and the dreamwork journey itself is actually an initiation. So when you encounter your ideas about UFOs and aliens, or your experiences and memories about them, you're encountering something that will change you, right? You're approaching something that may have been nightmarish. You're terrified of the aliens. You're terrified of the transformation of worldview. And so that in itself is an ordeal. And that's enough to be the center of a ritual of initiation. So as you approach this memory, or as you approach that dreamwork journey where you're trying to integrate, is that real? Is that a dream? What happened during that missing time? Is it possible I have an alien past life? Whatever, right? As you're approaching that thing that seems like death to your ego and your current understanding of spirituality, that in itself is an ordeal. And going through that practice and out of that in a sort of journey way is the ritual of initiation, and will provide a sense of understanding, of groundedness, and capacity to navigate these states for your benefit and the benefit of your community. So if you think these things are alien, if you think this is about psyops, if you think it's anything about anything else than who you are as a powerful, dreaming human being, then you need to go on a ritual of initiation. Now, you can go with me, you can go through the free e-course. That is what I have to offer. You don't have to work with me. You can go on your own path. You can find your own way. That's totally fine. And in fact, the literature would point to the fact that even if there's not a tradition of specialized shaman, dreaming itself, shamanism itself, humanity itself initiates itself, right? So there's a shamanic principle in the world that will accomplish these goals, and we can align ourselves to it, which is what I've done through my practices. That's taken me 20 years to make sense of, and now I can speak about in ways that are less than 20 or 30 minutes, right? And so that's been an accomplishment for me. Um, or you can turn to traditions of plant medicine that Westerners are going, or appropriate something else. Or you could work with me and we can explore what Western materialist culture came out of, right? This sort of Platonic ancient Greek situation where I look at the dream incubation practices of Asclepius, and I guide you through a lot of the literature there, or of the practices associated with the expansion of the British Empire, right? So those are two dream shamanic practices and cultures and traditions that we can work with if you're a Western, coming from Western materialist cultures where it's not appropriative. You can go through this ritual of initiation and it's not a big deal. You can understand exactly what it's about, and you can understand literature references and the academic basis for it, right? And you can actually go through it, and it can take only a couple hours, and it can just be like relaxing and having a daydream. That can be enough. And so that's what I'm saying to you. That's the conclusion here, is this thing, this initiation thing is necessary, in that it will help contextualize the UFO phenomena, the alien abduction stuff, all the controversies of hypnosis. It's the solution. And that's what I'm here to say. That's why I have the free e-course. That's why I invite you to engage with me in whatever way is meaningful to you. So I look forward to your engagement with this content, your engagement with this path. Please do reach out. And with that, may you dream well.